Ports on the West Coast resume shipping operations today. That's after an ongoing labor dispute that shut things down over the weekend.
Longshoremen and port operators have been really at odds over a new contract for months now. The resulting slowdowns are hurting a lot of Northwest businesses, and things could still get worse. Our Ken Body is digging deeper, and he just returned from the Port of Portland. So, Ken, where do things stand right now?
Well, I learned the Longshoremen's Union and the Pacific Maritime Association were expected back at the bargaining table this afternoon as the continuing slowdowns threaten to devastate the Northwest economy. From Seattle to Los Angeles, 29 ports in all. Cargo ships stacked up over the weekend, waiting to be loaded and offloaded. The Pacific Maritime Association, representing port operators, suspended operations, saying they would no longer pay employees premium wages for slowing things down on purpose.
Now the PMA must decide how much longer we are going to pay longshore workers to work slowly. These slowdowns are having the same result as a worker strike, except that workers are still getting a paycheck. The slowdowns need to stop.
The Longshore Workers Union, ILWU, claims that employers are deliberately worsening the existing congestion crisis to gain the upper hand at the bargaining table. But no matter who's to blame, the slowdowns are already starting to hurt businesses that depend on the ports to either bring in or export their products, like Portland's Pinecrest Fabrics.
It's costing us. It's costing us a couple $1,000s, probably a week in lost sales.
Continuing slowdowns at the Port of Portland could be devastating. We checked, and according to the port, it generates $750 million in wages, $800 million in business revenue, and $70 million in tax revenue. Huge numbers. I went to the Port of Portland and Marine Specialist Josh Thomas.
It drastically impacts not only the operations there at the terminal, but there's a domino effect all throughout the economy and for businesses, more than 900 businesses here in Oregon that depend on the port to function.
The greatest fear is that the impasse continues and it ends in a strike or a lockout. The two sides have been without a contract since May, and wages are not the major issue. The impasse is mainly over work rules and arbitration. And I found out there are more than 13,000 longshore workers up and down the West Coast affected by this labor dispute. The Pacific Maritime Association tells me the average full-time wage of a longshore worker is about $147,000 a year.